this icky day. So, welcome to this Unitarian Universalist Church, which includes our congregation in Birmingham and the ones here in Tuscaloosa, and of course those people that are online. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are today, and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Our settled minister is Reverend Julie Conradi, and we will probably see her next week, I think. So, all right. Well, on TV, as far as I know.
She's coming soon, but I don't know when.
Good. The prelude prepares us for worship. I feel like I should say live long and prosper.
That's the theme from E.T., by the way, if you were trying to identify it.
Since the first days that man stared up at the stars and saw other worlds, there has been no more haunting question than this: what will we find there? Will there be other creatures? And will they be like us? Or when that ancient dream comes true, will it turn into a nightmare? Will we find on some distant, frozen planet an alien life of unimaginable horror? From the duplicate man, the outer limits. In the spirit of inclusivity and welcome, please greet one another, especially those you do not know. Our opening hymn is number 139 in the gray hymnals. If you will rise in body or spirit, and please sing along.
We're singing a couple of hymns that are a bit new to us, so we're going to try and guide you through them. This one's the easier of the two. We're really going to blow you away with the second one. So let's give it a try, and I'm going to stand over here to help you. Okay.
Our church is supported by those who call our church home and by those who support the efforts of our church to change our world for the better. If this is your first time with us, please let the plate pass. We're just glad that you're here. We share our cash plate every Sunday with organizations whose work reflects UU values: to care for the marginalized persons, advocate for real and systemic change, defend our environment, and promote justice and equity for all. This month's Share the Plate partner is Friends of Hurricane Creek. This morning's offering will now be gathered. By the work of our hands and the intentions of our hearts, our love is made real. When we gather in loving community, we remember that we do not travel this earth alone. We share our lives as we light candles and hold each other in meditative thought and reverence. We invite you to come forward and light a candle from the common flame. You may do so in silence or speaking loudly. Let us know who you are, loudly, and what your joy or concern is. I'm going to light a candle over my concern that we are no longer one of the chosen faiths by the Pentagon.
I kind of have two. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Mariah Kerr. This is Beverly. Oh, she likes that flame. So my first one's kind of a concern, and then I'll go into a bit of a joke that Troy said, but he doesn't want to come up here, so I'm going to say it. But anywho, first of all, Deb's not here, but I felt like she would probably want to hear this, but it's okay. I was, unfortunately, this is super sad, I was offered a position at the Sabin Center, and I was really excited, and I accepted it, but then our superintendent blocked me from transferring, so I'm stuck at Eastwood. He said he doesn't want to let any more teachers go to the Sabin Center, and the Sabin Center is stealing his teachers, and I'm just caught in the firing range. So I'm stuck where I'm at. That's what I said. I already contacted HR. There's nothing I can do. I guess the second one is for Troy that won't say it, and also for my students, because today is June 7th. Does anyone know what day it is? It's 6/7. Troy, do it. He said it all week. He said, I'm so excited for Sunday. 6/7. Okay, fine. So, all is well, just a bit bummed. Oh, some of us don't know. Okay, I teach middle school. I teach 6th grade, so I was harassed all year with this, okay? So, This all started because, okay, and this is coming from what a sixth grader told me. It could be wrong. They are 11. I was told that the whole 6'7" joke thing is because there was this basketball player, and they asked him how tall he was, and he went, 6'7", and then he did this with his hands. And so every time, and you're in the classroom, and say I'm doing attendance, I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they all go 6, 7. Or I'll be like, what time is it? And you could even just say like, oh, I think it's like 3:26, 7, and it's just, yeah. And then I went on maternity leave, and I came back thinking it'd be gone. It didn't go away, and it's still there, and it doesn't go away. I even tried hitting them with an 8, 9, and they were like 10, 11, and I'm like, okay, we're done. So that is the date today, and I will probably post on I have a middle school Instagram page for them so they can see what we're doing. And I think I should post today with Troy doing the hands so they can understand. It's 6'7", Troy. It's 6'7". Do it for the kids. That's all.
Hi, I'm Mary Reese Freeman. I want to join in the joy. I love, love, love hearing people laugh at church. It's the best thing ever. First, I want to thank Ken for the music. I did see your Facebook post this morning with that song. So those of you who need a lift, just go to his Facebook page and listen to some of his music, especially 2 o'clock in the morning when you can't sleep. Pull up, Ken.
That'll wake you up.
I have some bracelets here that my great-grandniece has made for me because I couldn't find them anywhere, and I think that's crazy since this is the month that we need to proudly wear these. Little editorial for me. So if you want one of these, they're right here, and I can pass it around or whatever. Let me do that right now. And when they're gone, I will get more. And we made some progress on the GA meeting. There was a meeting Zoom meeting Monday, and I think you heard that Monty volunteered me to kind of chair this effort. We've had several people volunteer to help with it. It is going to be a spaghetti dinner. We're going to offer spaghetti and spaghetti without meat, and the noodles in the vegetarian will be gluten-free, so we think we're hitting everything. Just salad and Italian bread. It's going to be very simple. According to the information last week, they're going to have a lunch break from 11 to 1 on that Saturday. So if anybody wants to ride with me and help serve, you're welcome to do that. About the only donation that I need would be if anybody ever makes, I'm thinking Italian cookies, something like that, or Italian wedding cake cookies, something like that they can just quickly take, put on their plate or whatever. That would be great. If we were having it here, I would make tiramisu, but I'm not doing that to take to Birmingham. It's a little too hard to transport. But also, I wanted to say a big thank you to Sharon for a wonderful presentation at the library yesterday. Her stories that she's got in her book are so heartwarming and touching, and you did a beautiful job again. I love you.
Yeah. I'm Gene Bird, and there's a kind of old saying that if you want to get sick, go to the doctor. Hospital's even better. But my daughter Dana went and see her doctor and had a blood sample drawn, and guess what? Her arm started turning red afterwards. So she's spent 2 nights now in the hospital under IV, one kind and then another kind. And it looks like she'll be home today, but it's just, you do the best you can, and then suddenly there are unexpected side effects. But I think she's going to be okay.
What was it? What was it?
It's just a bacterium.
Oh, okay.
On a red arm.
She got from taking the blood.
From taking the blood, and they now they're treating it to try to get rid of it.
Good morning. I'm Maya Quinn. I have 2 little announcements, if I can light the candle. One of them is that I will be going to a service at 3 p.m. today at the Balula Baptist Church to honor foot soldiers from Bloody Tuesday. It's an open event, and the author of this book, Bloody Tuesday, John Gigi, will be there, of course, with some other notable civil rights foot soldiers. So if you're interested in going, you can come sit with me. Beulah Baptist Church at 3 p.m. today. So it's BEULAH Baptist Church at 3 p.m. today. From here, it's about 20 minutes. Second, I have a piece. So my stepdad is from Alaska. And so he and my mom have probably gone on, I think this is their 3rd cruise to Alaska. And they always bring me back a little souvenir. And I brought this souvenir to hang up in the nursery at church. This painting is called Subsisting Together. It is printed with archival ink and paper hand signed by the artist Rhonda Shelford Johnson. And it features Alaska Native girls dressed in each culture's regalia. And there's a whole write-up on it and her information. So that's all I have today.
I'm Steve Borelli. Some of you may know Pat Dunbar. She's was a longtime member of University Presbyterian Church and then Grace Presbyterian Church. Anyway, I just found out that she's in hospice care. She'll be at home, and hospice is coming out here. She's the one, that wonderful, food shopping pantry they have over at Grace Church for people who are food insecure. And now they have a huge garden in addition to that. All that started with Pat Dunbar getting bags of food from the food pantry, from the West Alabama Food Bank, bringing them to the church, handing them out, just totally on her own, and it grew to just incredible proportions. So keep her in your thoughts, and also her partner, Annabelle Stevens, who some of you know as well.
Good morning, I'm Shampa Dada, and I'm going to light a candle first in memory of my father, whose birthday is tomorrow. And secondly, if anybody is going to the Central Alabama Pride March parade on Saturday, I can't go, I have a summer job to do. But if you do go, please wear your UUCT t-shirt. I had brought one for Rebecca, she's going, but she isn't here today. Or wear a UUCT badge or something. Or just put a little poster around your neck. But have a good time. I'll be missing it really.
Hi, I'm Crystal, and I'm very thankful for the safe trip I had back from Maine, and this week was my first work week at DCH, so this summer, all summer, I'll be working 3 days a week, at the hospital taking care of patients as a bedside nurse. And any of y'all done 12-hour shifts at my age, you know that your knees are not always reliable. But this week, mine were, and I'm very grateful for that. So I wanted to share with you some excitement. So, we have Maya, who has been so wonderful and such a just incredible leader in our community, really, who has taken over the Greene County Democrat. And I want to say thank you for that. Thank you. I only have one copy of it, but I want to send it around. It's for June the 3rd. This week, Monty submitted an essay, and he's actually one of the main stories. His essay is one of the main stories in it. And it's called Searching for Social Justice, A Warning. It's really lovely piece about Dr. Robert Brown and some of the things that he's found as he's been researching about him. So I'm going to send it around so that we can all enjoy it. And I'm just very grateful today that we have Maya, who's bringing these stories to the community and getting them out there, and that we have a researcher among us who's really dedicated to bringing forward stories about the civil rights movement at a time when our government seems to be trying to silence those voices. So I'll send this around, but thank you.
Good morning. I'm Susan McKee, and I am delighted to be back in town this week. I have been taking care of my 3, almost 4-year-old great-grandson in Nashville to help my grandchildren out for this summer, and I got 4 weeks to go. I got 3 weeks to go. Had a fantastic time. I'm sort of a perfectionist, so I went overboard and had all these activities, and first day we did a treasure hunt and everything else. The next day, Tuesday, I wake up already, come out and say, let's play, and he says to me, I think I need to play alone today. He is precious. He is just, I just came back a different person. I tell you, he taught me so much about pacing, what 3-year-olds can do and can't do. His favorite, though, is freeze and unfreeze. And that doesn't last 4 or 5 minutes. That lasts about 15 minutes. So I've been getting my exercise, and the next one is hide and seek. We made a garden, a little gnome garden, and it was precious. And then he gets his monster trucks, which he's really into, and comes out and introduces his monster trucks to the gnomes and does flips over the garden. And I'm going, oh my God, all the work we just did, but it was fun. So I'm here, love to sing y'all again, but I'll be in and out this summer. Thank you.
Beverly has something to say.
Lots to say.
I light this final candle for all those joys and concerns that are still on our hearts. Please know that our hearts are with you. If you will join with me in the spirit of prayer and meditation for a few minutes. This is a meditation on hope and love in a time of struggle. In a world so filled with brokenness and sorrow, it would be easy to lose ourselves in never-ending grief, to be choked by our outrage, to be paralyzed by the enormity of suffering, to feel our hearts squeezed tight with hopelessness Instead, this morning, let us simply breathe together as we hold our hearts open. Breathing in as our hearts fill with compassion, breathing out as we pray for healing in our world and in our lives. Breathing in, opening ourselves to the transforming power of love. Breathing out as we pray for peace in our world and in our lives. Breathing in as we hold hope in our hearts. Breathing out as we pray for justice in our world and in our lives. May we know our strength. May we be filled with courage. May our love flow from us into this world. Breathing in, we are the prayer. Breathing out, we are the healing. Breathing in, we are the love. Breathing out, we are the peace. Breathing in, we are the hope. Breathing out, we are the justice. May we know our strength. May we be filled with courage. May our love flow from us into this world. Take a few moments of silence. Amen, and blessed be. Do we have a story? Yes? Sure. Yeah, it came off the Unitarian Universalist website in their worship section, and it's by Alice Ankacheka Nazman. So I have a copy if somebody would like it. You know that website that we're not recognized for anymore by the Pentagon. We have a story for all ages?
Good morning again. This is an oldie but a goodie. I don't think we can ever read this story too many times. It's called It's Okay to Be Different by Todd Park. Especially in the face of all the things that are going on that are telling us that it's not okay to be different, that it's not okay to be empathetic, that it's not okay to have opinions. But in here, we know that's okay.
Yes.
It's okay to be missing a tooth, or two, or three. It's okay to need some help. It's okay to have a different nose. It's okay to be a different color. And it's okay to have no hair. That's right, you can still wear a bow, even if you have no hair. And it's okay to have big ears. And it's okay to have wheels. It's okay to be small, or medium, or large, or extra large. And it's okay to wear glasses. And it's okay to talk about your feelings. Yes, or yell and roar about them. It's okay to eat macaroni and cheese in the bathtub. And it's okay to say no to bad things. And it's okay to come from a different place and speak a different language. And it's okay to be embarrassed. It's okay to come in last. And it's okay to dance by yourself. And it's okay to have a pet worm. And it's okay to be proud of yourself. It's okay to have different moms or two moms. And it's okay to have different dads or two dads. And it's okay to be adopted. And it's okay to have an invisible friend. And it's okay to do something nice for someone. And it's okay to lose your mittens. And it's okay to get mad. It's okay to do something nice for yourself. And it's okay to help a squirrel collect its nuts. It's okay to have different kinds of friends. And it's okay to make a wish. It's okay to be different. You are special and important just because of being who you are. Love, Todd.
Our speaker today is my grandson's favorite person on the earth. Notice I didn't say me. So I'd like to invite Dr. Ron Buda, an astrophysicist somebody, who's going to talk to us about things.
Glad you all could make it. This is a fun subject, even though it has no data really, not much. But I'm going to talk about aliens. I'm not talking about the illegal kinds of aliens. I'm going to talk about the things that people think about when they think of aliens, which are creatures that were born on another planet. And right there, can you hear it? Is that good? Yes. The colloquial definition of alien is that it's a foreigner. So if you were born in one country and you go to another country, you're an alien, and hopefully a legal one. But the kinds of aliens I want to talk about are the scary ones, the ones that we don't know anything about. One reason for focusing on aliens right now is that the government has released a ton of information, apparently accumulated over who knows how many years, on UFOs and ACP, whatever these other. They have acronyms for everything, and they're all connected to how things might be seen. Like UFOs are unidentified flying objects. ACPs are something or other, unexplained phenomena, stuff like that. But it isn't just that's happened recently. Here? What's that? Oh, well, now I'm confused. But I did want to say, in 2017, there was an observation that some astronomers made with the Pan-STARRS telescope, which is in Hawaii, I think, and they discovered a small object, very dim, on digital images taken with that telescope, and this small object was it varied in brightness, and they didn't know what it was. People weren't sure what it was, but the president of Harvard University, or maybe he was the chairman of the astronomy department at Harvard, he concluded that this was an alien spaceship. And he said the object was moving really fast relative to background stars, too fast than it needed to be, moving just to be in our solar system. But he said that variability indicated that it was shaped like an elongated, like a cigar. That could be a spaceship, I guess. If you spin a cigar, you can get a spaceship sort of thing. Well, anyway, and then so some said that this meant that the object could have been built by an alien civilization. Now, not everybody took that seriously. Now, it's easy to look at our world and wonder if extraterrestrial alien beings exist. And just from a principle of uniformity, one might expect that they do exist. When we look out into space, we see many stars that are just like our sun, stable, steady sources of heat and light. The Milky Way galaxy alone may have as many as 15 billion sun-like stars. Can you imagine that? A significant fraction of which may have Earth-sized planets in their habitable zone, which is where liquid water could exist. Now, throughout the cosmos also, we see evidence for the existence of the same chemical elements that are important to life on Earth, such as hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen, and others. Now, also, we know that life on Earth can tolerate a fairly wide range of conditions. It could be that it would be very strange indeed, given all this, that there is no other planet in our galaxy, much less the entire universe, that harbors life as we know it. We just don't know. Now, at the present time, there's absolutely, and I mean absolutely, no evidence, solid evidence, for the existence of alien beings. And this might mean something if our telescopes and this observatories, if they had the instrumentation that that could easily detect life on other worlds, but found nothing even after extensive investigation. And so the reality seems to escape us. The one thing we know is that life as we know it is likely to be a phenomenon of small worlds. There are no star-sized living organisms, no big galaxies that have, whose spiral arms can be flailed and galaxies can fight. There's no galaxy-sized beings of any sort. Maybe aliens are out there, but we just haven't found them yet. We're just not looking for them correctly. because of this, because of the fact we haven't found anything, and yet we've looked hard, alien life is one of the great unknowns of modern science. Great unknowns. And as recently noted by Neil deGrasse Tyson, who I met in 1986 when I was at postdoc in Texas, he said, more than 1 billion people use cell phones on this planet, on Earth. Yet not one picture of aliens encountering humans has ever been made. That's a good point. I like that. So and I got to know Neil. He invited me over for dinner one time. It was before I met Deb, my wife. And I knew he was going to go places because he had that commanding voice, as I'm sure Anna knows. Now, the recent discovering of planets orbiting other stars, known scientifically as exoplanets, is one of the main reasons we should be talking about this subject now. Because it wasn't long ago that planets orbiting other stars was solely in the realm of science fiction. Up until 1995, we did not have instruments that could detect exoplanets. Unlike stars, which are self-luminous, planets shine by reflected starlight. And they're very dim as a result, compared to stars. And you have to imagine you're seeing them from tremendous distances. They would be lost if you try to detect dim things in the presence of something bright like a star. The dim thing is going to be lost in the glare. So you can't really see these things. You have to find another way to prove they exist without actually seeing them. Now, so in 1995, a revolution occurred. A way was found to detect planets without seeing their reflected starlight. I have a demo for that. I'll come out there and show it. Here's what I mean. I want you to think of this thing as a star, the sun, the planet. This is a star, and that's the planet. But they're orbiting. One appears to be orbiting the other. But that's not what they're doing. Watch this. Both the planet and the star are orbiting. Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. And they're orbiting their common center of mass. And you can see here that when it's orbiting the center of mass, it moves. And you can detect the movement even if you can't necessarily see the reflected light of the planet. And this movement here of the star around the center of mass is called the wobble. The wobble. And it's much more evident. In most star planets that exist, the center of mass is much closer to the star than it is to the planet. And so the wobble is a very small effect, but it's detectable. And suddenly people found hundreds of planets orbiting stars using that method called the wobble. But that's not the only method that you can use. Thank you. Here? Okay. Yes, I have to stay by microphone because no one will hear me. This method is called the transit method, and it's been used for 20 years. And all the transit method is eclipses of distant suns by planets close to those suns. Only they're so far away that you don't see the stars. You don't see a star going in front of another star, because that's what the transit method does. You see a shadow. You see a planet silhouetted against a star. And it can be very hard to detect, but people found a way to detect the drop in brightness of the parent star when a planet goes in front of it. And now we have more than 4,000 known planets. And let me show you how you would do the transit method. Reverend Ruth gave this to me because she thought I needed it for demos. But this is a mini solar system. I think this is Mercury, Venus, Earth, and the Moon, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. So here, I left out Pluto because it was speaking straight up and it broke. That's okay. It was the wrong show. But you see, if you put all these planets orbiting their star, some of them may eclipse that star. And the stars are small compared to, some stars are small compared to the planets. They can be big drops in brightness that you easily see the thing. So thousands of planets are known. If you say, well, what if every star in Milky Way has a planet? There are billions, hundreds of billions of planets. What's the probability that ours is the only one that has, life like we know? This is great. This is a great discovery for how you might find these things. Now, let me talk about them. Well, okay, I have here between the wobbling transit methods, the two methods, we have more than 3,700 exoplanets. I'm sure it's more than 4,000 easy. Now I want to talk about the mystique of aliens, because that's what inspires me to think about this. It is the discovery of so many exoplanets that answer the mystique of extraterrestrial life. Mystique, well, what I mean by that is there's so much is unknown. We don't know. If we found aliens tomorrow, we don't know what we would be seeing. How long have they been there? Who knows what? For me, the mystique of alien life was beautifully captured in the 1979 movie, which one? Alien. 1979. Alien was a great movie. It scares the bejesus out of anybody who watches it. It's really something. A mining spaceship, in the movie, a mining spaceship carrying 20 million tons of some unspecified type of raw ore is on a course for Earth from some unnamed planet. And they, in the opening sequence, the crew, which is only a crew of 7, they started out in a state of suspended animation because it's assumed that it takes a long time. People need to sleep through the length of time to get to these distances. And then at some point the crew was awoken because the ship's computer detects a signal of unknown origin and wakes them up so they can go out and investigate. That would be scary. That would be very scary. The crew are surprised to find they're close to the star astronomers call Zeta 2 Reticuli, and it's in a southern constellation. And they're only halfway home. They pinpoint the signal as coming from a small world which they characterize as a planetoid or a dwarf planet. And all 7 get into a small craft that lands on the planetoid about 2,000 meters from the signal source. 3 crew members leave the craft and walk towards the source. And they find there the evidence for an alien being, skeleton, for an intelligent being. The evidence was in this peculiar-looking crash-landed spaceship. This movie terrified me when I first saw it, not because of just what happened after the humans went into the alien craft, but also because everything happened very far from Earth. Because we think, suppose you're 40 light years from Earth, that's a huge distance to be away. I don't know, people would go crazy if they tried that. Anyway, the planetoid was depicted as a very cold, windy, God-forsaken place. There's no doubt about it. Now, The Outer Limits was a 60s sci-fi show that did a superb job of capturing the mystique of alien life. In this show, encounters with alien beings did not involve diplomatic missions, cultures similar to ours. Instead, aliens were the true unknown. One of my favorite episodes of this series is titled The Duplicate Man. The episode was set in the year 2011 and was interesting because it imagined that humans had actively visited other worlds and found extraterrestrial life during the space exploratory days of the 1980s and 90s. The episode was aired in 1964 when these decades were way in the future, and the story revolves around a scientist who bribed a space captain to illegally bring to Earth a dangerous and highly intelligent alien for his own personal studies. The alien was called a Megazoid. I've been wanting to find a costume I could buy for that because I want to be a Megazoid. It was so cool. It was characterized as having an all-consuming tendency to kill. The alien, and dealing with this object, this alien became urgent when the alien escaped from out into the grounds of the scientist's house. Anyway, lacking the courage to face the alien himself, the scientist has a duplicate made of himself. That's why it's called a duplicate man. He has to make a duplicate who has the courage to go and kill the alien because he let it out. Now, I did want to say something here. One piece of artistic license that sci-fi writers use is that humans or aliens or both can fly through space at superluminal speeds. Isn't that right? Warp this, warp that. In Star Trek, the Enterprise could travel many times the speed of light at various warp factors in order to carry out its stated mission to, quote, explore strange new worlds, seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no human has gone before. If such superluminal speeds were actually possible, one could imagine exploring the universe almost in real time. That is, if we need to go to Alpha Centauri, we'll just go. Get there in a few days, if you can go fast enough. The Enterprise could reach Alpha Centauri from Earth in only 6.5 months if it was traveling at warp factor 2, as it turns out. And at warp factor 3, it would take less than 2 months to get to Alpha Centauri. In one episode, the Enterprise moved at warp factor 9 and was so far out of the galaxy that they lacked reference points for getting back, which I thought was an interesting way to talk about that. Now, the issue of speeds is one area where the search for alien life meets reality. In 1905, Albert Einstein published his special theory of relativity, which demonstrated that no material object could travel faster than the speed of light, which is 629 million miles per hour. It's fast, but the theory showed that as a material object approached a speed close to that of light, its mass would increase, making it harder to move it faster. In fact, at the speed of light, the mass of an object would become infinite, making it impossible to move it any faster. The reality then is that if we want to explore the universe directly for life, by visiting other worlds in the manner of Star Trek, we will have to do so at sublight speeds. That's a big, big difference. Nothing is unlimited. Now, while the theory of special relativity appears to make interstellar travel difficult, there's another consequence of near-light speed movement that would actually make interstellar travel feasible in one regard. And this is, if one were to travel to Alpha Centauri at 99% of the speed of light, from the Earth's point of view, it would take 4.3 years to get there. That is, people on Earth waiting for you to go in your spaceship at 99% of the speed of light, coming back. It would take 4.37 years to pass on Earth. But on the spaceship, time slows down. In that case, you have something like the twin paradox, where you have two twins, same age. One goes off to Alpha Centauri at the speed of light, nearly the speed of light, the other one stays home. And the twin paradox comes back having not aged, whereas the other one aged 4.3 years. I want to see somebody prove that by going and doing that experiment. But it's been proven for subatomic particles, but I don't know how. It's not how you could see it. You have to work in that subject to learn more about that. Anyway, it sounds interesting, but getting a large spaceship with carrying humans across interstellar distances at 99% of the speed of light would require an enormous fuel supply. It just isn't practical. That present technology would make it impossible. Now, using artistic license, we can argue that while we do not yet know how to make interstellar travel possible, an advanced alien society may have figured it out. This leads to the most popular way to imagine seeing aliens in their landed spacecraft on Earth. And I would take a telescope out to Moundville, and I would be there looking at the stars and with this big telescope, and I would imagine that aliens landed there, and I would have to rush into the woods because I didn't want them to see me. I mean, it's easy to imagine things like that. But considerable lore exists on the idea of alien visitations and or UFOs. No, the subject would be seen as unidentified flying objects. Considerable lore exists on the idea of alien visitations, which led to J. Allen Hynek's famous 3 categories of close encounters. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, to scare her. Well, in the yeah, yeah. well, J. Allen Hynek came up with these 3 categories. That a close encounter of the first kind of aliens, visitations on Earth, would be somebody sees something, but not very well. A close encounter of the second kind, someone has photographic evidence, but that's all they have. But the ones that are called a close encounter of the third kind is most interesting because it's an actual encounter with alien beings. And this was the title of a famous Steven Spielberg movie in 1978. The aliens in Close Encounters of the Third Kind were not depicted as being hostile. This was not true of the aliens in the 1996 movie Independence Day with Will Smith, and that was a good one too. And the fellow who was in Jurassic Park too. Well, anyway, in Independence Day, the hostile aliens arrived at Earth when humans actually had a means of defense. And for most of human history, however, people would not have been able to fend off such an invasion. It's true. Now, there are 2 issues that make alien encounters unlikely. Interstellar travel, as far as we know, is likely to be far more difficult for living beings than it would be for robot probes. This is because living beings need a life support system that would have to last possibly generations in order to reach a given destination, which may be light years away. With our current technology, it could take as long as 25,000 years to travel 1 light year. It's just 1 miserable light year we're asking for. We can't even do that. It's 25,000 years. Now, if alien visitations have actually occurred, and our government knew about it, there would be no way it could be kept a secret. It could take. This is because the discovery of alien beings from another world on Earth would be one of the greatest discoveries in the history of the world. It would be to find something like that and to keep it a secret because of who knows why the government would want to keep it secret. There's supposed to be bodies somewhere, alien bodies. It's crazy. But if there were scientifically proven, it'd be one of the greatest discoveries of all time. Now, what about detecting alien beings from a distance? That's different. Let's now consider that. This has a greater possibility of providing meaningful information because such detection can be approached much more scientifically. Now, the most scientific approach to searching for alien beings is called the SETI project. SETI means the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. And this is a real scientific enterprise. I met someone who just received a PhD from SETI. You can get a PhD in astrobiology, a subject that has no data, but you can speculate what you might find in other worlds. You can do a thesis, and that would still be useful. But the SETI project is a real project involving real people, and that's interesting about it. It's located in California. Their main approach to the problem is to try and detect the radio and optical signals emitted by a technologically advanced alien civilization. And their main approach, the project makes a hugely important assumption that there exist aliens who, like us, are capable of discovering the laws of physics. The project, these laws include Newton's universal law of gravitation, Newton's 3 laws of motion, the conservation of mass, energy, and angular momentum, the laws of thermodynamics, and the laws related to electricity, magnetism, and atomic molecular structure. How would they interpret those laws? How would they, what kind of would they have their own mathematical descriptions of them? You can't ignore that because those are the laws of nature. And I always like to say the conservation of energy law because it's fun. The conservation of energy law, which states that energy can only be changed in form, but it cannot be either created or destroyed. I like saying that. The laws of physics is very important, and how they would develop on another planet is hard to say. The project also assumes that intelligent life could develop on another world in much the same way as it developed here, on a planet with a stable source of sunshine, orbiting within the star's Goldilocks zone. You see what the Goldilocks zone is? Venus is too hot, Mars is too cold, the Earth is just right, so it's in the sun's Goldilocks zone. You have to have, on such a world, you might be able to have water and air, and that could make it favorable for life. Now, the huge unknown for the SETI project is how long a typical technologically advanced civilization could survive. And boy, that's a hard one to say. This is what Jill Tarter was a former director of the SETI Institute of SETI. And she said, unless advanced technological civilization can last a long time, SETI will fail. And she's probably right, because in astronomy, if something, our ability to see certain things depends on what their time scale is and how bright they are. Stars and galaxies are bright, so we see those, and they have long lifetimes. So there's a high probability of seeing those. Planets and finding and living organisms, that's something different. And so if you want to detect an alien civilization active, it would have to have existed for millions of years. And there's probably no such thing out there, at least unless my colleague Gene might think, sorry Gene, you might disagree. But so that's important. Now here's another thing. I want you to suppose that this week SETI scientists announce that they have found the WOW signal. The WOW signal is where you're collecting data with the radio telescope, pointing at places in the sky. You see the signal that lasts for only 78 seconds, and then you don't see it again. That's the WOW. And the WOW means, wow, I never saw anything like that before. That must be an intelligent civilization there. Well, nobody was able to prove what that thing was, and nobody's proven what the other thing, the thing that came into the it's called Umwama. I mentioned it earlier. Those things still are not definitive. Now, every semester I had Alien Day, and I taught AY 101. Alien Day was a day when I talked about these very topics. And I would ask my students a question with a clicker question. And here are the answers. The answers they would select if they knew that there might be a real alien civilization. And here, I've assumed that it's an alien civilization only 10 light years away. And that sounds easy, doesn't it? Well, it isn't. It could take 200,000 years to send a spacecraft at current top speed to reach such a thing. Now, I asked the students, what would they do? A would be, would they find it curious? They would find it curious but not threatening. B, send a spaceship to meet with them. D, would want to send signals from Earth to try to communicate with them. And E would be terrified. Now, the answers that most of the students gave was, we want to know more about the aliens. The answer that I gave was, would be terrified. because you don't know what's on the other side. You're not resolving anything. You're getting information through radio waves and signals, but not necessarily things that you're not going to get any TV broadcast necessarily from these things. Now, we would not. The discovery would, of course, be extremely important and interesting and important, but because we know so little about what's on the alien side, it becomes difficult to deal with it. Communicating with an alien civilization would be like communicating with Columbus, and it could be like Columbus trying to interact with humans on this continent at the earlier times. Columbus encountered other humans who had evolved on the same planet, but in a different society. With aliens, we would have to contend with beings that not only developed in a different way, a different society, but also on a different planet. And because of this, an alien society might not have the same traits as their evolutionary that might not have the same traits as humans. The appearance of any aliens, how they communicate with each other, their evolutionary development, and how they describe the laws of physics would likely depend strongly on the properties of their home planet. You can't ignore that. The properties of the home planet are going to determine how big their eyes are. That could be the properties of the star they're in orbit around. How big their eyes are, how big their brains get, or how foolish they develop. But I'm guessing an advanced technological civilization has learned to survive to some extent. You can look at, you can have the planet's surface gravity is going to matter. We live on a planet with a surface gravity of 9.8 meters per second squared, but the moon is 1/6 that. And other worlds will have higher or lower values than that. So who knows? It's going to affect the way things look. And the properties of the planet could be how much water it covers the surface, the mass of its sun, what its resources are like, the composition of its atmosphere, its rotation period, the range of environmental pressures. All those things are going to matter to aliens. Maybe they just can't even if they went through thousands of years of travel here, what's the guarantee that they're going to be able to live here? It's probably not going to work out. Okay, now, so that's what we're up against. We have to deal with what the properties of the world that they live in are, to interpret what they mean. Now, in the 1970s, NASA launched, I think it was called Pioneer 10, but it might be Voyager 1. I might be wrong about this, whose mission was on a flyby of the giant planet Jupiter. And after the craft had completed its mission, it did not turn around and come back to the Earth, but continued off into interstellar space, never to return. Given that this was going to happen, Carl Sagan at the last minute designed a plaque to be placed on the craft. And in case millions of years from now, an alien civilization discovers it. The plaque carried descriptive information on who we are and what we look like and what scientific knowledge we possessed. It also pointed to its origin. Imagine that Pioneer 10, or Voyager, travels for 1 million years and is discovered by an alien society. Even after such a long time, it would still likely be less than 100 light years away. It won't get very far, even if it's been going for millions of years, because space is so vast. And even after such a long time, it would likely still be less than 100 light years away. Would an alien society be able to interpret the plaque? Now imagine us discovering an alien probe sent out millions of years ago. Would the probe be recognizable as alien? The famous theoretical physicist Enrico Fermi once commented that the galaxy is so old that there has been enough time for an advanced civilization to send out probes all throughout the galaxy. This means it is likely that such a society would have known about Earth as aliens No. This means that it is likely such a society would have known about Earth as an abode of life. Now, Enrico Fermi is a famous theoretical physicist who came up with the Fermi paradox. The Fermi paradox is, if the galaxy is so old, there's been enough time for an alien society to send probes everywhere. And I would call them von Neumann probes. Von Neumann probes. And the paradox that we don't see them is called the Fermi paradox. Okay. Now, even though we currently have no evidence for the existence of alien beings, I believe they do exist because we exist. We have sent manned missions to the moon, unmanned probes to Mars, and a spacecraft that is now, after 45 years, has gone beyond the heliopause and is one light day from Earth. It took 45 years to go one light day, not a light year, but a light day. And the Earth displays to the universe what the possibilities for intelligent life can be. That human beings have achieved the status of an advanced technological civilization is remarkable in itself. But it also brings us into what might be called an elite galactic club, because only a technologically advanced civilization has the capability of detecting other civilizations without having to travel over stellar distances. In closing, the discovery of alien beings from another world, from another planet, would be one of the greatest developments in the history of the world. It would take alien life out of the realm of pure science fiction into the realm of reality. A whole new research field would develop. It would be both thrilling and terrifying to know that we are not alone. This discovery would also teach us something about ourselves, that societies can survive the destructive tendencies that they undoubtedly all have. The search for intelligent aliens is indeed a search for who we are. Thank you. Yes.
An interesting paradox is that you mentioned the discoveries.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine we, Columbus, came to saw, in quotes, humans, and what actually happened was they acquired diseases because their immune system did not take care of that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, transpose that to the point that at some point, maybe that E.T. came here. Who's to say that his systems would not kill us all because of that?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird to think that we are not the human leaders of the whole world.
Mm-hmm. It's very dangerous to
That there
have.
could be other systems, doesn't have to be human, but other systems that are so advanced, and they may not even be in human form. They could be like a worm. Who knows?
There's an Outer Limits episode that says sometimes the shape of that a man often defines his humanity isn't always human. Yes. Well, anyway, we'll let's finish.
One question. What about all those sightings? Why don't we have the questions afterwards? We're running really late here.
It's 11:20.
Questions afterwards. Have copy.
Do you want?
I got it.
Okay.
Our closing hymn
Yes, very good. Very good.
Our closing hymn is 319. I believe Deb said we haven't sung it.
We have. It's just
319 in the gray hymnal.
Okay, this one's a little tricky because it it changes the tempo just a little bit. It does a phrase and then, yeah, the time signature, but yeah, I'm sorry, not the tempo, but it kind of goes 2 notes per measure, and then we get to the end of a phrase and we'll kind of do 3 notes. So Ken is going to play the whole thing through one time, and I think we're going to try and sing all 5 verses. No, let's just do 3 verses. We're going to do 3 verses. Yeah, we'll do 3. Problem is that once you get to 4 and 5, if you're reading music like me, you don't have the music to read anymore. So anyway, so let's go the first 3 verses and let Ken play it through once.
It's time for announcements. Are there any announcements? Deb?
We're going to have food sanctuary afterwards, and so we'll actually be in the back room in there. And another thing I was going to announce is some plans that we're sort of putting up. We put a second television here on the far side of the room, because, I recognize that the folks who sit forward over on that side, they can't see Reverend Julie when we pick her up here in Birmingham. So look for that. We may do a little experiment with a smaller TV on loan from somewhere and see if we can pick that up and set it up. So that way, if you were over there, you don't have this foreshortened or hard time seeing what's happening on the screen. So, and then if we do that, it's not going to be very expensive, but we may ask for a donation or 2 to pick up a TV just like the one we have there, and try to figure out how to set it, what to put it on and everything. But, so anyway, that's coming. So if you felt like you've been shortchanged by sitting over there, we're going to try and fix that.
Well, we have a few things coming up that I wanted to remind everyone of. Can you hear me in the mic? Can you hear me now? Okay. There's a few things coming up, and I wanted to make sure that everybody could hear. That's why I came up to the mic. One is we're going to have our partnership and social justice meetings via Zoom this week at 6:30, so look out for those. And then on the 10th is the finance meeting, so those are happening. Even though social justice isn't on here, it'll be the next week on Tuesday as usual. This Tuesday? Okay, so Monty's saying that he's going to do it this Tuesday, which would be on the 9th. That's for the that's the social justice, okay? The spiritual growth will be the next Tuesday, which will be the 16th, yeah. And Steve will be there, but also I think Monty will be there. We have a GA coming up, the General Assembly. So several of us went to the volunteer thing that was on Wednesday night. If you're coming for Juneteenth celebration that's going to be in Birmingham on Friday. You don't have to have volunteer training for that. Our church can just come, and I'd love to see all of you there in Birmingham. We're going to meet at the Institute, the Civil Rights Institute. And then, so we'll have more information about it in a schedule posted soon. I think that they sent out a link in your email through Newsnet to let you know that there's like, to sign up for volunteers. And I think that you can actually see the schedule that went out with the all church email. But I'll be sending that out again through Newsnet so everybody can see the schedule of events and what time to meet is in Birmingham for the Juneteenth celebration. Then on the 21st, which is Sunday, we won't be having church here in our sanctuary. We'll actually be meeting our service has been moved to Birmingham. So we just want to get that word out so people don't show up here. Please come to Birmingham, and there'll be volunteers for people to ride together to the service. But Reverend Julie's asked that we all come to be with the visitors for GA. The entire, that will finish out the weekend. There's like a few events right after that service that you are welcome to stay for. And that's the 21st. That's going to be at Birmingham. And then there's a couple things I wanted to ask if someone here knows about. One is to announce the men's group. That meeting is usually held on, I think, the Saturday. If someone knows when the men's group is meeting, that would be good to know as an announcement. I don't know if they're meeting on the 20th, but if someone knew, that would be nice. And then the second thing is Daryl, if anyone knew Daryl, his memorial service, I think, is being held on Sunday, the 21st. If someone knows about that, it would be nice for them to make that announcement too, I think. Okay, and that's all I have.
I've also got some announcements like this, but I checked and we don't have anything.
Right, one,
But there's elections for the runoffs. The runoffs. Oh, yeah. That's next week. Yes, Tuesday.
two additional announcements very quickly. Next Saturday, the 13th at 2 o'clock, the craft group will be meeting here. And I have two certificates to hand out for people who weren't here in May when we handed them out. So Mariah and to Susan for helping with the kids.
I actually did think of one more thing. I was able to go with Anna to Tannehill. We were scoping it out for an event on the 18th of July that we're planning for our church to have an outing for the day at Tannehill, and that's the same day that they're having the trade days, which will be a lot of fun. And we would like to form a task force for planning that event. It looks like there's some really exciting things that many of you may be interested in, and we want to have a task force so that we can see assess our interests and what people might like to do. One of the possibilities is that we could book a booth for our church at the trade days, which could be a fundraising event. So if you would be interested in anything from helping to set up a pavilion for our families to come out and enjoy a day at Tano Hill, or if you would like to maybe help with the trade days, like a booth for our church for fundraising, please reach out to Anna or I to be on our task force, because we'd really appreciate that. It's an opportunity for members of our church who do crafts. They could put items too in the trade days to sell their items. So I think it could be a really good way for us to all be together and give each other some support, and do both, have a really good time with our families and maybe raise some money for our church.
Daryl Smith's memorial is the 21st at 5 p.m. at Mountville State Park Conference Center.
All right, thank you. All right, in closing, Ron asked me to read a couple of quotes from some profoundly important movies in our past. The first one is from The Outer Limits, spring 1963. The planet Earth is a speck of dust, remote and alone in the void. There are powers in the universe, inscrutable and profound. Fear cannot save us. Rage cannot help us. We must see the stranger in a new light, the light of understanding. And to achieve this, we must begin to understand ourselves and each other. And this one is from Planet of the Apes. This was written, the opening monologue by Charlton Heston. And that completes my final report until we reach touchdown. We are now on full automatic in the hands of computers. I've tucked my crew in for the long sleep, and I'll be joining them soon. In less than an hour, we will finish our 6 months out of Cape Kennedy, 6 months in deep space. By our time, that is. According to Dr. Heslin's theory of time and a vehicle, traveling nearly the speed of light, the Earth has aged nearly 700 years since we left it, while we've aged hardly at all. Maybe so. This much is probably true. The men who sent us on this journey are long since dead and gone. You who are reading me now are a different breed. I hope a better one. I leave the 20th century with no regrets. But one more thing. If anyone is listening, seen from out here, everything is different. Time bends. Space is boundless. It squashes man's ego. I feel lonely. That's about it. Tell me, though, does that marvel of the universe, that glorious paradox that sent me to the stars, still make war against his brother, keep his neighbor's children starving? That was the opening monologue. Go in peace.